What the heck was that? I am so blown away right now I hardly know what to even say, but let's just get into it. What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, talking today about the Google streaming service now called Stadia. They just did about an hour-long press conference over at GDC, sort of trying to explain what this is and why we should be excited about it. Now GDC is always a very interesting time for gamers because it's sort of where they talk about the future of the industry. It's where people sort of spell out what kind of hardware, what kind of expectations, and what kind of goals they want to set for the future. What's going to be changing and what's going to be different. Well, it sort of tries to do that, but everything about this press conference was so bizarre. Google didn't tell us a price, they didn't show us any exclusive games, they didn't really show us anything that's actually important. But by far the biggest drawback is the fact that this is going to be a purely digital service from the ground up. You will not own anything. It is all completely based in the cloud, so if you have slow internet, you're basically absolutely screwed. So something Google talked about at the beginning of this show was basically trying to say, we've been doing a lot of different experiences, a lot of different tiny experiments to basically try and get the greatest visual fidelity from the slowest internet speeds. So they're basically trying to promise that even if you have dial-up, you could probably access this service to some capacity. The weird part about this is that Stadia does not run on installs. It doesn't actually install a game. Instead, it reads your button commands and sends it back to a server, which processes them and then sends you back the visuals. Now, this is something that does very much worry me, but something they said in this conference is they're trying to promise that this is actually going to unlock infinite potential. The fact that there isn't going to be a physical box trying to run physical commands and it's all being done by supercomputers off in the distance, apparently that'll make things 100 times more powerful. Like, one of the examples they gave is, suppose you were trying to play Fortnite and you were just dropping into this battle royale game, but instead of being 100 players on the map, what if it was 1,000? 1,000 separate people, each trying to hunt you down, scavenge, trying to get that next big piece of loot. It would make it where, instead of just being a random match, it would be an extended battle. Now, that concept is awesome, but my problem is that they didn't show anything. During the entire hour-long thing, they basically gave us no real-world examples trying to demonstrate this. They didn't show us anything online. They just did a couple little short tech demos of people off in the forest picking flowers and just flirting around with little fairies. And that's interesting, but what is that? They didn't really kind of just sit down and spell this out. I really get frustrated whenever people try and just be really, very loose with their terminology. Anytime I'm going to be spending cash on stuff, I absolutely want to make sure I know exactly what I'm getting for the service. Now that's kind of the big thing. We don't know exactly what Stadia is supposed to do. Will I be paying a monthly fee and have access to everybody who's partnered? Do I buy each individual game? Something they were really trying to talk about this is how this will be able to evolve how we communicate with games. This is by far the part that just kind of melted my eyeballs the most, is that say you were deciding to watch a live stream of me. You guys know I only stream on YouTube. I don't stream on Twitch or anything else. Well, if I was playing something like Resident Evil 2, as I'm running through the hallways and trying to fight off all these monsters, there would actually be a new button that says Stadia on the screen. And if you click it, you will actually start the game exactly where I'm at. Now, this is so... I feel like this is a terrible idea. The people on stage claim that the point of this was trying to make it where everybody would be able to join and interact with games in a new way. Maybe if you're somebody who only watches games on YouTube and you're trying to get into playing games, then you have this interface of, okay, I like what I see, I can jump into it. But my problem is that I feel like you're just going to make games feel shorter. I mean, is this going to be part of a monthly fee? Or if I see a game I like, do I click a button and it just charges my Google account $60 instantly? They just didn't give us enough information. I'm just so frustrated because who's going to be in on this? Now, the weirdest part of all is that Google has claimed that with part of this thing is that they want to start developing their own games. They're actually going to be making stuff in-house, but they didn't show any of this. Now, the weirdest part is I've seen the Google Stadia games. I've watched gameplay. I've been leaked stuff already that showed me some stuff. One of them specifically is being made by Sega, and it looks great. I mean, the graphics on it are crazy. So the fact that they have games that are probably super close to release and they didn't bother even showing us like a logo is so bizarre. I mean, why bother talking about games but not showing them? It's just kind of frustrating. I guess my biggest thing is that this stuff looks like it has infinite potential, and I do think that in a way it is the future, but they just didn't give us enough information. They didn't really tell us what's good, what's bad, what's really going on. I guess part of this is also the fact that it's really strange to me that we are about to hit the all-digital future. We've always talked about it being off in the distance, but it seems like it's actually going to be here. They're saying that Google Stadia is actually going to release this year, just later on, and they're going to be showing us a lot more games in the summer, which makes me think that Google could perhaps have a giant presence at E3. But my problem is still, there's just something weird about an all-digital future when it comes to the cloud. These are not going to be things you actually install on a game console and just play digitally. These are things that purely exist when you interact with the servers. And that's just a little bit hard for me to digest because I do like physical media. Like, I just bought the Into the Spider-Verse Blu-ray. I love this movie. I like the fact that I can just pop this in and instantly watch it even if my internet goes down. Or if I want to play Mega Man on the Game Gear. This is a really peculiar and really interesting game that I can't play digitally. This only exists in this format. So what happens in the future? Do these games just vanish? I mean, Final Fantasy 15 has changed dramatically since launch. Did the original versions just disintegrate? Am I not able to play that unless I pay for all the DLC? I mean, they just didn't give us enough information as to what this was supposed to be. The biggest thing about this, though, that I do want to give them credit for is that it definitely has a lot of potential. I mean, I'm not going to say that this stuff is bad. I'm not going to say that this idea is a terrible concept. I'm saying that I wish we saw more of it. This press conference, in my opinion, didn't manage to really answer anybody's questions. It was just so slow and drab, and it didn't really kind of just put my fears at ease as to what the heck I was supposed to be excited about. I really wish that they just come out on stage and said in very plain English, here's some games, here's how they run, and this is why you should be hyped. But they didn't. Instead, they wanted to just hit us with a bunch of flowery talk about frame rates and streaming 8K visuals. I wish they told us some minimum data caps or something. Tell us how fast our internet needs to be. Because, obviously I pay for good internet because my job is YouTube, but what about the people who have slow internet? A lot of people I end up talking to at conventions and stuff are super nice dudes who tell me about living in like the swamps of Louisiana, and they talk about basically they can watch my videos, but they can't really install patches very easily and stuff, and so because of it, they end up being retro gamers, where they actually need physical cartridges to even be able to enjoy cool stuff. They can't connect to the internet and reliably download a 50 gigabyte patch, which, yes, is stuff that exists. Is this game going to basically be all 50 gigabyte patches? What happens to patches in the Google service? I mean, are they just going to have to take the games down while they fix them? There's just so many questions that they didn't even bother looking at. The one thing that I did think that they showed that was really cool, and I will be excited about, is that they are showing that there is supposed to be all sorts of different interactions with YouTube that I think are pretty cool. Like, one of the things is that apparently there's going to be like a button on the controller that you can press and instantly jump to a YouTube video to help you out. So say you're stuck on like a puzzle in Dark Souls, you can just press a button and immediately go to that spot in a playthrough and just basically get a chance to have a feel for it. The weird part of this, though, is obviously that it means that Google is going to be constantly watching you play stuff, and that's always a little bit weird. I can't believe that this is going to have full visual fidelity. I just can't imagine. I mean, even while I was watching the stream, a couple times the stream was glitching out because so many people were watching it in overwhelming Google services. What happens when a new game comes out and everybody's super excited for it and all tries to stream it simultaneously? Will that crash it? If we're all trying to stream from the Stadia servers onto YouTube, we're all streaming the same game at once, will that crash it? Can this crash crash? Where are the supercomputers? Will I have better service if I live closer to a super center? Are there people in New York who are going to be able to play games better than I can because they're closer to a Google headquarters? We don't know. They didn't really tell us what any of this is, and so because of it, I'm just kind of lost. This thing does have possibly some great stuff in it. This could very well be the cool future we want. I mean, with some of the processing power they're talking about being available in the cloud, this could very well have some PlayStation 5 level graphics. But the issue is anyone going to have internet fast enough to even see stuff like that? Or is this all about to be a giant, giant mess? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm still kind of blown away because really, I heard some great leaks about the Google console that got me excited. I thought that this was going to be a true competitor, but now it seems like this will just be a third option. I think most people are still going to own a PlayStation 4, a Nintendo Switch, maybe an Xbox One, and maybe Stadia. The ability to switch between different systems on the fly, going from laptop to TV straight back to your laptop and tablets, that stuff's interesting, but is that really what people want? I don't think so. Well guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I am seriously curious. Please leave me a comment telling me what you thought of this and what would you pay a month to get a Google service like this. Okay, so thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. And I'm going to go watch Spider-Verse, because I seriously think this might be my favorite movie ever. Oh god, I just friggin'... Oh no, I spilled my drink, oh god. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, you know, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.